Hey, hey, hey! How's everyone doing? I'm hoping that you're all doing good, had a good weekend, and a good start to your week. And, I just finished doing some work as usual. I have a bunch of work that I'm always taking care of. And in my relaxation time, I thought I would take a look at some observations that I've noticed about the moon. Now, here, I want you to watch this little video. It's about almost 3 minutes. Okay, and it's from NASA, so it's an authentic video about the moon that you could actually discuss and talk about in science. Because I think there's some interesting things that we've never paid attention to. Because one, uh, there's only one side of the moon that we've always seen, right? Because the Earth is tidally locked with the moon, and that means that we always see the same side of the moon no matter what. We never see the back side. Only the front side is always facing Earth. And that's something that's very key that I want you to pay attention to as we watch this video. So here, come take a look with me.
Equation. It's a beautiful thing. No astronaut.
The moon is one of the most prominent and familiar sights in the night sky, but there is a side to the Earth's only natural satellite that most people have never seen before, its far side. Our moon is tidally locked to the Earth so that the same side is always facing our planet and its opposite side is never visible to us. NASA used data from its Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter to produce this video simulation showing what a complete cycle of phases look like on the moon's far side. The video was published this week. This view shows the Earth spinning in the background and reveals just how different the other side of the moon looks. The far side lacks the large dark spots called maria seen on the near side of the moon from Earth. These spots are impact basins up to hundreds of kilometers in diameter
Impact
that were
basins.
filled with lava between
We're
4.2
gonna come
and
back to that.
1.2 billion years ago, scientists say. In contrast, the far side is covered with craters of all sizes. Scientists have been studying the question of why the moon's two sides have such different features for years, but it remains somewhat of a mystery. Studies have shown that the crust on the far side is thicker, likely making it more difficult for magmas to erupt on the surface. Scientists believe Earth's moon may have been created approximately 4.5 billion years ago when a Mars-sized astronomical body collided with Earth. The resulting debris from both Earth and the other body accumulated to form our moon.
Canadians are dying of overdoses every day.
Yeah,
Stigma is making it
overdose
hard.
of false information and lack of observation. So I'm going to show you guys. All right, so here, okay, we got some pictures of the moon here. Okay, let me show you. So this here, see, that's the side that we always see, right, with the features of the man in the moon and all that, right? That's the side that they said had, as a result of, they said it, impact craters, right? Impact craters. Now, take a look at the far side of the moon. It has impact craters as well, but not at the severity as you have on the near side, the side that we see. So that can only mean one thing. Okay? Here's the Earth. Distance from Earth to the moon, they say 384,400 kilometers. Whatever, that's fine. So this side always faces Earth, and this side, no. This side here has very little impact features compared to the side that we see, which can mean only one thing, that the impact came from the Earth towards the inside orbit of the Earth and the moon, not on the outside. Okay, they said that the moon formed some 4 point whatever billion years ago as a result of some impact. Okay, fine. But from that impact, everything would have over time, so they say, over their billions of years. But everything over time would have evened itself out, right? And you would expect to see the same amount of impact on the outside, the far side of the moon, than on the inside. Okay, so theories about large comets coming and striking the Earth and perhaps destroying the Earth, well, if there is anything that the Earth is traveling through in space that would have affected such a bombardment of extra the solar system debris, asteroids, meteors, comets, whether they impact or they just vaporize in the atmosphere like a Tunguska, right? You don't see that on the far side, right? Because the far side would have shown just as much impact as on the near side of the moon that faces us. So, what do I mean by Noah's flood? So, Noah's flood, let me go here. From what they're saying, okay, and I tend to agree more with this logic than what we've been taught in school, was that there were very little oceans on the Earth, and it was mostly one large landmass with lots of seas spotted out. Something like what Mars looks like, right? Because now we're seeing that Mars did have seas, but no global oceans of that kind. So what caused the oceans? Well, we know that at some point, the vast reservoirs of water that are kilometers deep down inside the Earth made its way to the surface, right? And that some force of nature, okay, caused this split right here. Okay, starting from the Arctic, which, from what these people who have studied this phenomenon have said, traveled the Earth in 2 hours, run around the Earth twice in 2 hours. So all that split down the mid-Atlantic ridge, right? Essentially, what was responsible for the geological forces that pushed the continents apart in this way drove India from this position up north there to form the Himalayas, right? Sank all this here because all the stories that we've heard of the land bridges that used to exist in the South Pacific and Asia, yeah, let's see, it's all land bridge, right? That's all land bridges. And then here, what we're seeing is a huge depression in the Pacific Basin where you have subduction going on both sides, right? So one side is going under the Earth and past the Earth here in the Western Hemisphere. So that San Andreas fault going this way, but you also have a set of plates that are pushing it down from underneath, causing the mountains and the plateaus here in the Rockies. And on the other side, here in Japan, that nice big subduction zone that's going underneath Japan and underneath all into well into China, where they got these where is that volcano where they're saying, well, you need to have a magma chamber to have a volcano, but not in the case of one particular one here in China near North Korea. Oh, here, this one. See, this volcano is formed in an area way away from anywhere where you would have, what would cause magma chambers from, whatever their natural process is. See, so that's because of deep underground action. So the long of it is that all this is as a result of something coming in between either the Earth and the Moon and striking both the Earth and the Moon in opposite direction, causing whatever scarring that we see on the Moon as well as on the Earth, or the events from the blasting away of the deep continental structures of the Earth that shot into space when the fountains of the deep broke open, and all the Well, what was at the core of the Earth there? The iron and nickel. The types of material that you find in meteors that fall to the Earth, right? And it's always at specific times of the year, always in October and always again in March. And there's reason for that. Is that comets as well? Because you got to think this is rock, ice, genetic material. So whatever plant, animal, bacterial life that was down on the crust of the Earth or down in the depths of the oceans or deep in the crust, that when these broke open along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and everywhere else, got shot into space, right? And eventually, ended up becoming part of the orbital debris around the sun. And that's why we have Halley's Comet and this comet and that comet and a whole bunch of other stuff periodically. And that's why they're mostly covered with ice, right? Rock and ice. And if you take a look at it, most of their shapes are rounded, right? Rounded by water erosion. Because there's a difference by looking at asteroids that are broken off chunks from explosions and two bodies hitting in space, and others that seem to have some type of weathering as though they were on in an environment covered with water. So things to think about, because we do have the fact that we now know that Noah's Ark was found. It's just a question now whether to dig it out or do more scans, or determine whatever composition and date and whatever you come to, it's Noah's Ark. Okay, there's no other reason you're going to find a ship, a vessel of that kind, lodged in the mountains, buried under volcanic ash, preserved by layers of pitch, oiled pitch, which is tar, to preserve it for thousands of years now. To prove that the history that we've been taught in school, that secular history, has been a lie, right? It's a straight out lie. And once again, it has nothing to do with religion, because digging in the ground and finding bones, finding rocks, finding stuff, right, that predates what we were taught about where our civilizations began and stuff, that has nothing to do with religion. This has everything to do with logic, observation, and fact, right? And it's very obvious. You look at the moon doesn't spin. It stays tidally locked to the Earth. So whatever impact craters you see there on the moon had to have come from either from the Earth or from some other body, as Emmanuel Velikovsky, who was ridiculized with his theories by the scientific community, of course, because he was not part of that group that, was paid to say what you believe. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to a paycheck. You want to keep those Nobel Prizes. You want to keep that tenureship at that university, that you want to have that prestigious name saying that, I'm head of the science department at such and such university and this facility, and I don't want to be ridiculized by my colleagues for believing that Noah's flood was a real thing, because then I'm bordering lunatism. I'm going to be labeled a lunatic, a religious freak, and you name it. That's what people do, right? Because they've lost the intuition, they've lost the human endeavor to seek out knowledge for the truth and to figure things out and to study things to show yourself a worthy human being capable of, minding your thoughts and being able to make sense of very clear observations once information has been presented to you. So I don't know what to tell you. Very big difference between the near side and far side of the moon. And if with all their billions of dollars and putting people on the moon, as some people I know have boldly claimed, well, why is it they haven't come up with an answer for this phenomenon? Thing is, they have the answer, but they're too chicken to tell the truth. Because telling the truth is what a real person would do. Okay, And I have to say that they'll be chicken because these are the same people that believe that ultimately, somewhere down the road, that they evolved from some microbe, some guck on the rock, or whatever you want to call it, that from a chicken some millions of years ago became a monkey and then became them. So, monkey on you.